Hello and welcome back. In this tutorial we're going to take a look at the animations for our first and third person character blueprint. And as we've done several times before, we're going to go to Mixml and find some animations for that. And the animation I picked was this one. It's called Walk. You can search for it by looking searching for back, I think, and then this one will be one of those that will pop up. So what I like about this especially is that she's looking over her shoulder when she's walking backwards. There are some other animations in there where the character just walks backwards and it looks like a forward cycle, just reversed. It kind of sucks. Anyway, I also found this one called right strafe walking, and what you can do is you can download that and you can just hit the mirror and then you will have a similar one just walking. Yeah, this is actually the right strafing movement, and this is going to be the left one. So download this one first and then click mirror and then Q download again to get the mirrored version. So yeah, you will eventually end up with let's open up Maya and let's take a look at what they contain. It's gonna take a second. Okay, so let's import the first one. And I think I'm just gonna go through the principles of this, of what I do with them, since this should be fairly trivial if you have followed some of my tutorials already. So I'm just gonna show one of them actually. So I put it inside a folder called Walk, and let's take the strafe right. Yeah, let's take that one. So that animation, all of these three animations, you're gonna end up with three animations. One walking backwards, and one strafing right, and one strafing left. So let's zoom out a little bit. This one is the strafing right, so this is his right shoulder, and let's swing it around a little bit. And as you can see, he's looking from the back now. He's strafing right and looking forward now. So first of all, what we want to do with this is to check how many frames do we have. We have 30 frames, so let's limit that down to that, 30 frames. And he's missing a root, as you will notice, so we need to add that. And one root, and make sure to parent that. Okay, so now we have a steady root here, and we just want to make sure that he doesn't move out of the place, because we don't want to use root motion for this, or I don't use it in this situation. So I'm just going to figure out which of these has the motion. I can see there's a straight motion here, so I'm just going to make sure that I put that to a nice steady line. Somewhere around 0. Doesn't have to be perfect. Some animators, professional animators out there, will definitely disagree with me. So now he's gonna be walking in place, strafing. So this is the strafe right, but the result I want to get out of this is actually the strafe backwards left. So this is important. It's the strafe backwards left. And the reason for this is that I'm gonna all the changes that I ended up having to do on this particular animation, and also did the same with the strafe right, to make the strafe backwards diagonally right. So that is going to be the opposite one. Hope that made sense. Anyway, since this is basically a motion going straight to the side here, when we are strafing backwards, we are gonna go kind of that way, so it's gonna turn like 45 degrees forward. So what I did was take the root joint added here, and I added a rotation here. Sorry, the wrong direction, I think. Let's make that sure. I was blinking. I didn't see which direction was turning. So here is facing forward, kind of, yeah, forward. So I want to face him a little bit more that direction. So that was the wrong direction. So maybe this is correct. Okay. So yeah, it is correct. So now if you imagine he's walking backwards, then it would look like this. And don't worry that the animation is executing too fast. We're gonna fix that inside Unreal. And in the optimal scenario, you would want to have a better animation for this, obviously, but I'm just showing the hack and dirty version of this to get something to look at pretty quickly. So also, in order to get the little rotation I talked about, let's select the head and go into the Windows graph editor. And we have a rotation, I don't know which one of them, so I'm just going to try. This seems correct. So he's looking forward, kind of forward now. I wanted to have him to look kind of over his left shoulder when he's walking backwards. So I'm gonna turn not that one. Maybe it's this one. Not that one either. Maybe not entirely. Well, one of them. It has to be one of them. Maybe a combination. I need a combination. Okay, looks like I need to. Okay, so now he's looking kind of backwards, but we want him to look a little bit down. So adjust this one. I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but this looks more or less maybe a little bit too much. But imagine these two has eyes, so he's kind of, imagine he's looking over his left shoulder when he's walking backwards. Actually he's walking that way. So that is actually what I did. This is showing the changes that I had to do to make this animation. And then you want to save these, and just going to show what I end up with. So I'm going to end up with a strafe left too, which is going to be just a normal strafe, or let's take the right one first. The right strafing unmodified, just with the root joint. And then I'm going to take the diagonal version, and I'm going to make that 45 degrees adjustment to that animation, just like I have here. And in that case, I actually also rotate the head a little bit, because if you are strafing diagonally forward, then you want to kind of look forward, not in entirely the same direction as the original animation, but you can just know that you need to fix a little bit on this one. And then finally I took the strafe right diagonally back, and this is actually the one I am going to use as the strafe left diagonally back. But I wanted to keep the names in here, because they are based, all three of them, of the same strafe animation. So I just completed the same with the left. I have to, oh yeah, I made a mistake on one of these. I can delete these. They're just confusing. Okay, so this is the original one. This is the one with the root, and this is the one with the root turned 45 degrees and the head a little bit forward, and the same one with the head turned a little bit backwards, which I will then reverse the play rate inside Unreal. So we covered these and these, so all the strafing was here, and the backward was just a simple matter of adding a root node, and that's all. So that's the explanation of what I did inside Maya. I'm just not gonna save this, but trust me, you're gonna work this out, I think. So what we are gonna do is to come into the imports folder. We have something here left off from last time. Let's get rid of that, and let's see if we have some left over stuff in here. No, not really. So let's import these, the two and the strafe left, two, and this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So we're going to end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 animations, and then select our import character. Just gonna check something. I hope I didn't delete the wrong one. Anyway, in that case, I need to remake it. No, I think it was this one. Okay, it's good. All good. Okay, so once we have them in here, let's just go ahead and retarget them to our mannequin dude. And then we can just delete these again. Okay, so inside our folder here we have now some new animations. Just gonna get rid of the copy, because otherwise it's gonna take up so much space. Okay, so let's take a look at the animations. This is the backwards animation, and this is a strafe left, and this is strafe left diagonal. As you can see, the head is actually looking forward and not, I don't know if it's possible to see, but I wanted him to kind of look forward in this animation, and in this one he's looking to the side, so I turned his head a little bit to his left shoulder on that animation. That's what I mentioned before. Okay, so these are the animations that we've prepared now. So what we need to do in order to get this going is to make some changes to our locomotion, and this is something that you need to do on all your blend spaces. So I have only made it on the walking animations for now, and it should be fairly easy to see how to make it, and then just do it for the running, and also doing it for the running with a rifle and so on. But it's gonna take some time to make these. I don't really know if I'm gonna do it myself. This is a rifle because I just want to try out different things. So right now we have a speed variable driving the 1D blend space. So it's basically just a forward and come to a stop. And what we want to have is a 2D blend space controlling both the forward and backwards and running, and strafing and strafing. So, and actually strafing backwards also. So let's go into how to make that blend space. I'm just gonna check something. I will walk. Just want to make sure what numbers I used. Okay. Okay, so in here, let's just right click and make a new animation, blue animation blend space. And of the SK Atom skeleton, and call this the idle walk BP, no, BS. Okay, so we have some axes here, and for the x-axis we're going to type in right, and for the y-axis we're going to type in forward. So these are going to be the forward and right vectors we use. And since our maximum running speed is going to be 600, I'm going to type minus 600 to 600 and type in division by 6. And for the backwards, or forward actually, we can only move at walking speed backwards. I actually may want to change this to a little bit lower because we move backwards, but anyway. And we want to keep this division by 4. The way I come up with these numbers are saying, okay, what is the least divisor of this this area? So in this case, it's 1200. So a 6 is going to be fine. And in this case, the difference here is 800. So I can use 4. Anyway, hope that made just a little bit sense. Okay, so apply changes and we get these updates here. So obviously in the middle you want to have the idle. I have some kind of idle state here, and it's called unarmed idle, and I think I can put it up there. Is it here? Yep. This looks like the middle. Okay, so 0 forward and 0 right. So the running is going to be directly in front here, and the walking that we already have is going to be at 200 here. So we can't see anything yet now, but it's going to come in a moment. Then we have backwards animation, the walk backwards, and we want to put that directly behind here. And then we have a strafing left diagonal, and as I said, mentioned, I kept the names intact. So the left needs to actually go to the right, like this, and the right needs to go to the left. Very confusing. Sorry about that. So strafe, type in strafe, and then we have a strafe left. So you want to put that directly from the next to the idle, so he turns and walks strafes left and strafe right next to, and the right diagonal is going to be up here, and the left diagonal is going to be up here. So that's actually all we have for now, but that's going to create something that we can use to begin with. And also, yeah, this is actually a good thing to start off with, so we can adjust this afterwards. We need 2 new variables to drive this, because right now we only have a speed variable, and since we have I have a speed variable, I'm going to delete this one inside the idle run state. It's the center one here. So I want to use my new one, idle walk BS state here with the right and the forward. And let's see, we have the speed, this one here. I'm just gonna screw that. I'm gonna leave this. You want to remove this one because we don't need that later on. But we want to go and make sure to update this these 2 new variables, the right and the left, from inside the handle input axis forward and move right. So let me just go ahead and make sure I get everything correct. Yeah. So if you have this stuff, go ahead and click it, but the important part is actually just the access value, which came from the event handler here. So I'm just, because I want to keep things nice and clean, I'm just going to put it inside this function. So we may or may not have made a function to get the animation blueprint. Get anim. I did. Okay. No, it comes in handy. So this gets our animation instance. You remember this one, getting the animation instance for the mesh and so on. So from this one, we want to make sure to set a variable, and I should have created them. Forgot. Let's create them. Create a variable called forward speed. Obviously, it's going to be a float, and we want to create another one called right speed. Okay, hit save and compile maybe. And actually, then we go right ahead and plug these two, and then it's done. And the right speed in here. So now we have variables driving the blend space already, and all we need is to fill in the correct values. So we're going to do that from inside the base character blueprint. So drag out from my animation blueprint, now set the forward speed, and the value we're going to set it to is going to be let's see, it's going to be the velocity actually of our character first. So we can type get velocity and get vector length. Weird. Okay, path length. What the heck? Okay, weird. Get length, get vector length. I don't see my vector length here. What is up with this? Sorry about that. Get. It's so weird. I have no idea what I did wrong. Okay, anyway, let's continue. So we have the speed of the character, and since this speed does not have a sign, we can use this this mentioned axis value, which is going to be 1 or -1 depending on which direction we move, forward or backwards. So get local axis, get local axis value, and this is either -1 or 1 as mentioned, so we can just multiply this float by float and then pop that right into the forward speed. And we want to do something similar for the right vector as well, the right movement. So it's just the same, just gonna do it real quick. Get set the right speed and set it equal to our velocity. And drag this out, good. Vector length, I may have written get or something. Okay, never mind. Multiply, not by pi, float by float, and multiply it by the local axis value. And there we go. So now we are feeding in the speed variables for different directions, forward, left, right, or backwards. So let's see how we can move forward. We can run, and we can strafe to the side, and we can strafe to the other side, and we can strafe diagonally forward and diagonally to the other side forward, and we can back pedal. It's kind of sliding there, so I think I want to look into that as well. And we can also move the other way back and the other way back, and a lot of sliding. Actually, he's walking forward, so we need to make a few adjustments to this to make this good. So let's go ahead and finish up with that. The backwards animation is too slow, I think, so I'm gonna set this to 1.2. Let me check what I have. Actually I have 1.8. Okay, that's pretty fast. And on the two animations going backwards, I have I think it's minus 0. Let me check, 0.8. So this one, this rate scale, minus 0.8, is going to make him walk backwards just at a little bit of slower rate. So that's one of them, and the other one is here, minus 0.8. So there we go. So now he's walking a little bit, he's pacing a little bit faster, and still a bit of sliding going on, but in this also a little bit of sliding, and also something with the animation, it seems. But anyway, it's a good beginning. So the last thing we're going to do is to take care of this jittering going on, and the reason for this is that the axis values are going instantly from -1 to 0 to 1 when we push the keys. So the way to fix this is actually just to add a little interpretation again. So when we set these values, we don't just set them. We make a if interp. So we see this out. Okay, so we want to make it this the target, and this is the delta time. Get delta seconds, and the interp speed. Let me check what I have. 10. It's pretty fast, but still enough to iron out that jumpy motion. So from get my anim instance, we want to get the current speed that we have. So drag out from this and type get forward speed. No. This one. So no, not forward speed. Sorry, get the right speed. And let's do that also for the handle forward. Add the interp. Plug that in, and this is going to be our current, and this is going to be our target, and the delta seconds, and 10 for the interp speed. So when we play again. Did I click that? Nope. It's gonna make a smooth transition. And well, it's not like it's as perfect as it could be with the true root motion, but it's, I think, way better than not having it. So we don't have the running animations in place yet, but we have only the forward animation, running animation. But this hopefully illustrates how to make these changes. So hope you learned something and can use this to complete the last animations. I'm gonna probably make some of them off video and then continue with a different topic. I think I spent enough time on head rotations and controller stuff for a while, I think. Not really sure, but I think. Actually, I need to fix one last thing, the aiming. I haven't really paid any attention to that. I know it's not working, so it's completely bugged right now. But I haven't really decided if I want to spend time on that right now. Anyway, I just noticed that I missed something. We have the I mainly tested with one wall, and I was running around and testing with this wall. And here I have some pretty big issues. Also, if I come to this one, my camera rotation limits are way off. So the reason for that is obviously because I have an rotation offset already. So I just hacked in some fixed values before. These two values. So obviously these two values needs to be added to the actor's current rotation. So get actor rotation and split this out and say, okay, we want to say float plus float and say 110, and for this one we want to say minus 110, and then plug these two in. So let's see if I got that right or if it's the other way around. So let's come over maybe to this wall, and I got it the other way around. Okay, great. So okay, minus then 110 and then plus 110. That's how things work with me. I sometimes mix them up. So, and it looks like we could use maybe now the 70. This is actually the reason why it seemed to work better that way before. I can only come to that extent here, and let's take this wall, and now we have the rotation correctly, and here we have the rotation limits correctly here. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.